we're back with another exciting round of Spaceship Tournament madness here in Day 3 of the 10th Alliance Tournament. Zastro here with the ever-fuzzy and round-faced Lazarus Telraven. For this match, we have the Kadeshi facing off against Shadow Cartel. Both teams scored 14 points last week, but the Shadow Cartel suffered a painful loss when one of their Proteuses disconnected just as the match started. But for that unfortunate event, they probably would have won last week. So, Laz, what did they bring this week?
What you see on the field now is two, I guess, almost mirrors of the PL setup. Again, where it's three Cyclones and then Sleipnir, two Molluses for the Kadeshi side, and then you have three Cyclones, Ham Tengu, which is Heavy Assault Missile Tengu, and two Griffins for the Shadow Cartel. The Ham Tengu is really effective, has about, I think, 30.5k range. A lot of DPS, I think roughly around 600 DPS from this ship, and it's going to be interesting to see how it turns out.
So the Kadeshi warped in very close to the middle of the arena, almost at zero, while the Shadow Cartel warped a bit away. And as the match gets underway, the Kadeshi is rushing the Shadow Cartel ships, and they're getting tackles on them already. Yeah,
you see these Molluses trying to get damps on these Griffins, and then you have jams going on to the DPS of jams from the Molluses actually coming, or drones. Yeah, they are RECM drones, or going on to DPS. You're not seeing many jams being carried across from the Griffins. You see them trying to jam one Mollus and then a Cyclone and Sleipnir, but you're not seeing very much DPS spread out yet.
Already the ships have converged on Wowbagger's Cyclone, and he's taking damage toward the center of the ring. He's getting neuted, and he's starting to go down. Both teams have chosen to not bring any logistics setup, so what we're going to see is a lot of ancillary shield booster tanks at the beginning, and as they run out of charges, the ships are going to die very quickly.
Yeah, you see Morris going down, then getting boosted back up by his ASB. It's going to be all about who has enough DPS to chew through these shields, or who runs out of charges first, because it doesn't look like either team is able to get through to armor yet.
Yeah, so all of the Cyclones are piling on each other in a big cluster pile in the middle of the arena, while all the frigates are kind of heading to the outskirts and staying away from the middle.
Well, what's interesting is the Griffin, Serena, is being chased by two warriors, and every time he goes to turn, those warriors are getting a few shots in and getting that shield lower and lower. A Wildbagger is in structure. He's going to come down, pop. He's not boosting. There he goes. So the first Cyclone is down.
And he'll be our first casualty of the match, but followed almost immediately by Mars L for the Kadeshi. So right now the teams are pretty neck and neck in their DPS race.
Oh. Yeah, you see Harney already bouncing back and forth between half shields and ASB running. So it's definitely going to be a close match. It's a balls to the wall DPS race, which you have to love those matches.
Yeah, instead of a kiting or maneuvering battle, both teams are just standing face to face, punching each other as hard as they possibly can, and just hoping they hit harder than the other guy.
Oh, I mean, it's definitely they're lining up and taking shots with muskets. Is what I would compare it to.
Yeah. This is the Civil War of the American Civil War of the Spaceship Tournament. Just stand there and shoot each other.
Yeah, and again, each ship is going to be about whose ASB runs out of charges first. And this it's definitely going to be Hardy. He started taking damage first, had to start repping first, so he's going to die first. So, it's really just going to be ship for ship trade.
Yeah, so far it's pretty tight. Neither team is taking the lead here. As we get further into the tournament, also these teams we're not seeing people worry about the handicapping their points as much as we saw earlier, because we're starting to get into teams that actually scored a few points last week. So having to worry about climbing back from a 0-point shutout is less of an issue for these teams.
Yeah, early in the day we saw teams who made it past with 2 or 6 points. Both these teams, like you said, came into this match with 14 points each. So they have a lot better odds getting onto the 32-man stages. As you see, the Cyclone just pops. So Harney's still alive, so I was wrong in that. The second Cyclone, it has gone down for the Kadeshi.
Yeah, but he's almost immediately followed by Herney. It's still a very tight race. It's just a DPS race.
Yep, and They haven't even looked at this team yet, and the Sletner has not taken any damage either. They're trying to get these Tech 1 ships off the field. They have low resistances, so they have a lower overall tank. Very good decision on both teams' part, in my opinion. And I'm just wondering how much DPS, how much effect this Tengu is having.
So why Tengu? Why do you think they brought the Tengu at all?
They're really beefy, and the way they have it fitted with the hams, you're looking at 600, 650 DPS. So it's doing a lot of DPS. And I really think.
And sorry to interrupt you, but Herney, even though he got into deep structure, he pulled away and burned out of the fight. Now he's gotten range on most of the enemy ships in the middle, and he could probably stay alive for a little while longer out there.
Yeah, that's very good piloting on his part, getting out of range of that, waiting for his booster reload. He's going to rep back up, go back into the fight, and they're going to save that ship. You're seeing, for the Kadeshi, their Cyclone is about 40% shields, and he's not repping back up. I'm not sure if he's up there. You get a little bit there, but I don't know if he's out of charges and just using his cap now. But that was very fantastic piloting on the Shadow part.
And even if Herney had been too damaged to really get back in the fight, he's denying points to the enemy team. But he did get that ASB recharged, and now he's turning back around and rejoining the fray. That could be the deciding move here in this match.
Oh, and I think you're going to see the same thing from the current primary for the Kadeshi. It's me. I think once he starts running out of charges, he's going to burn away as well and just save that ship. As you see, Sarama from the Kadeshi going to structure, and he's going to die very shortly, as they have 3 DPS ships back on the field.
He's turning and trying to get away, but unfortunately for him, he's just in the middle of all that mess right there, and he has nowhere to run. He's just going to get, well, I say that, he's repping shields now. I guess he got his ASB reloaded at the last second.
It's either finally reloaded, or he's going to burn through whatever cap he has left. And what's surprising, you aren't really seeing any webs. You get one web being applied to the Sletner, but they quit webbing down that Cyclone.
Yeah, so some of these maneuvers and trying to keep that ASB going, that's going to be what decides who's going to win this match.
Yeah, it looks like It's Me is actually nuding the Sletner as well. So they're starting to get down that Sletner, making him a little bit weaker, while they switch DPS back to the Cyclone to eat through those charges again.
Yeah, I think having the Tengu alive here is going to put Shadow Cartel in a stronger position. As it gets down to it, I feel better about their chances to pull this out. But we only have 3 minutes left in the match, and both teams are staying alive, tanking pretty well. So it might come down to time on this one. Neither team might be able to wipe out the other one fully here.
Yeah, it's been really effective bringing those nukes on these teams with their utility high slots. Because the Cyclone, I believe, has 2 utility high slots. Just double check that. It has 3 utility high slots if you do not fit missile launchers. So if you just use the 5 autocannons, you have those 3 slots to play around with. You can spark bomb, nuke, and with these, just getting rid of these casks, turning off their hardeners is going to be extremely effective in these fights.
Yep. And we saw Serena just blow up here, which is going to put Shadow Cartel in a commanding position now. They just lost the Griffin, but they still have 2 Cyclones and a Tengu against only that Slepner and a pair of Maulises. So they're in a much better position. Only 2 minutes to go, though. They're going to have to take that Slepner down, or they're going to be in a bad position. They're not going to have a whole lot of points coming out of this match.
Yeah, well, they've been nuding the Slepner for a while now. I don't think he'll have any to, or just maybe just a little bit of cap to run his hardeners. So he's going to die much quicker than I think the rest.
Yeah, I haven't been watching his ASB too much. It looks like he is still repping, so he still has charges there. But that's just too much DPS for him to deal with all by himself.
Yep, and actually I believe he just ran out of charges. I don't see any more rep effects coming from his ship, as he is sinking like a ship.
Yes, sinking like a spaceship. So down he's going, and that's going to wrap it up. Shadow Cartel has a minute and a half left to try to chase down these Maulises and claim their 50-point victory once Mirko Stinks goes down here.
Yeah, all those extra points are definitely going to be worthwhile, because it could be just one. They could be pushed out of the match by 1 point if by one of these higher-ranking teams.
Yeah. So tomorrow, all of the people that will be fighting will be the winners. We have no idea what's going to happen in those battles yet. Pretty much the winners have to avoid getting shut out. They're playing for points tomorrow. And all these losers today, whether or not they advance, is going to depend on how many points a lot of those winners score tomorrow. So every little point that they can get from these little frigates is going to be a big deal.
Yep, and as just pointed out by Rivy, Kearney was the pilot who disconnected in Shadow Cartel's last match. Looks like he has a stable internet connection today and did not get CCP when he logged back in.
Yeah, he is he's clearly a very good pilot, and I do think that they could have pulled off their match last week where he disconnected. It was still a fairly close match, even without him being there. He's a good pilot. If he was there, I think they would have won.
Oh yeah, I definitely.
So
think that
we're running out of time here. I think we have about 10 seconds left, and
as that
they are
Maulus
not
just
going to
popped.
catch up with these two Mauluses.
Yep, one Maulus now.
Oh,
Yeah,
they got him just as time ran out. I don't know if they got him or not. I think they got him.
Let's see if-
Yep, so one Maulus will win. And that will do it. Shadow Cartel has beaten the Kadeshi in convincing fashion. And we'll see you guys again in 10 minutes with our next match.